When you wake up, this is what you gotta do. You gotta crush the day before it crushes you. Every day I'm here to motivate, lead the way in the AM. I don't want you to hear these words, I need you to feel what I'm saying. Oh, you gotta crush the day before it crushes you. You gotta crush the day before it crushes you. In the building, Jimmy Wilson, motivation's coming, I can feel it. First thing that you need to do is crush the day before it crushes you.
What's up, Day Crushers? It's your boy Drewby. We're back again with another exciting Day Crusher episode. This is where I go out into the community and find men and women who are truly exemplifying what I mean when I say to crush the day before it crushes you. These folks are living, they're doing the work, and more importantly, they are truly focused on becoming a great version of themselves so that they can set the example in their own life and for everyone around them. Today's guest, someone very special, someone near and dear to me, a friendship that has been built over the last 18 months, really kind of based around giving each other a little bit of a hard time, but in doing such a way that continues to push each other to grow and to keep getting better. This man is a small business owner. He is a hell of a husband and father, and he's quite the comedian as well. So I'd like to welcome my friend, Mr. Kevin O'Neill. What's up, brother?
What's up, dude? How you doing, Drewby?
I'm crushing my day, man. You know what it is.
Man, thanks for having me, dude.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking time to be here, man. I remember we were talking about podcasts, and you had shared that you have a podcast that you've been doing for a while for your community. And you had mentioned me in one of your episodes, and I thought, well, hey, man, I'm going to do him one better. Instead of a shout out, let me bring him in. Let me share his story because, brother, you have a heck of a story on top of really creating what I consider a pretty awesome lifestyle business. And so would you do me the favor, kind of tell us a little bit about yourself now, and then we'll dig into your history a little bit.
Yeah, most def, man. So I'm Kevin O'Neill. I am the owner, CEO. I'm always like weird about the CEO founder thing, you know, like when you have a small business, you're like, I'm the founder. Like, what did you find, man? I think that's like reserved for like tech giants sometimes, or like so when you have like a unique brand new idea. But yeah, man, I'm a small business owner. I got a boat rental and jet skis and water sports here, as we call it, in North Florida. I also have a couple other hustles I got going on. We do some Jeep rentals, and man, I'm all over the place. I got a podcast. I do a little event. Yeah, man, it's been a hell of a journey to get here, but we do the damn thing, man. You know, I like to think that that I not only represent the lifestyle I think a lot of people are trying to get to, but you know, I do really live it, man. I mean, I do spend time with my family. I do travel a lot. You know, I don't want to use the term absentee business owner, but I have set a lot of the processes and places that a lot of people try to obtain, and I'm very proud of that, man. You know, so that's where I'm at currently.
Yeah, and you should be proud, Kevin. That's something that I really admire about you, and really I think a reason why we've connected, other than having crazy knuckle tattoos and being a little bit on the edge there. But you know, we had connected, you know, through Apex and kind of crossed paths a little bit, but we had a chance to really have a kind of a couple in-depth conversations after Apex Live earlier this year. And some of the things that you talked about really hit home with me, because what I really truly see in my line of business of consulting, coaching, whatever, again, kind of those weird titles that we put on things, but just working with other small business owners and entrepreneurs, is that they have this vision of a business that makes them money and gives them all this excitement and then the ability to go and live and do and have fun, but they're not actually creating a process that allows them to go and live that, right? They've essentially just built themselves into another full-time job. And you're someone who I look at and go, well, hey man, he did the grind, he did the hustle, but now he truly has put himself in position to have a lifestyle business. Where did that start? Like, did you go into it that way, or did you have to take some lumps and figure it out?
Oh, I mean, no, man, it was all smooth sailing. Like, it was like cash. I just went to the counter, cashed my check, and I'm like, oh man, here we go. No lumps, no bruises along the way. Yeah, man. So I got into my industry, actually working in Key West, working for another company, and I grinded it out for another guy for 10 years before I I got to the edge and took the jump and started my own thing a little over 6 years ago. But I studied, I paid attention to everything that was going on. And it wasn't like one of those things where I was like, oh man, I was born to be an entrepreneur. Or I want to be an entrepreneur. It like kind of fell into my lap. I was kind of like, man, well, I can do this.
Okay. And I want to pause you for 1 second. I don't mean to interrupt, but
sure.
There's something that I think was really key here. Listen to this, folks. I grinded it out for 10 years for someone else before I made the decision to start my own thing, and then spent 6 years building my own thing to where he is now, right? And so this is an important takeaway, because so many people have this I want it now mentality. I want it now mentality, and that is not how it works. It is a daily process, which is why I say crush the day before it crushes you. So 16 years in, 100%. Kevin, keep going, brother. Sorry, I just had to touch on that.
No. And I mean, like to touch on that a little bit, like, so in some context, I like the water sports thing is my main hustle. I have, as I said in the intro, I got a Jeep rental business. We do a little event. We have our podcast, and then I got a couple other things in the fire. We actually launched a boat test 13 months ago. It's like an online course, but it's in conjunction with the state of Florida for boater safety. It's something it's more like a driver's license, right? But I won't get into that story, but that's been an entire grind that's made like $0, but it's got a lot of potential, and it's beta testing. It did like amazing in 14 days that we were live. And so long story short is all these sort of things are like, they're still in development, and I have to, and sometimes I'm just as guilty as the next guy of being like, well, I'm not interested in a 6-figure business or a 7-figure business. I'm interested in an 8-figure business or a 9-figure business. And like when we're looking at metrics or KPIs or numbers and we're getting something off the ground, I start like getting all like excited and like, I want to go all in and like, oh man, but then I have to like slow down and go like, okay, well, when I started Destiny Water Adventures, it's my first business ever. Like, it did 250 grand its first year, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm a genius. You know what I mean? Obviously top line, I took 0 paychecks that first year. I had no personal income, and we just rolled that back in the business. And we did that year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. Like everybody at the top level of our business, my partners, nobody's like K, or, like what's a K1? Like nobody's interested in living that life to take drawdowns and take a bunch of cash, because we're like, well, how can we keep on reinvesting it in the business? And sometimes I'm like, oh man, well, I don't want to make $1,000. I don't want to make $10,000. I want to make $100,000. I want to make $1 million. I want to make $10 million. And then I got to like slow my roll, get back in and go like, okay, look, man, like nothing's built in a day. If we want to build something to scale, we have to start small. We have to split test. We have to see what works. And like, we might lose money in that process. We might make just a little bit of money in that process, but what did we learn in the process? And then now how can we rinse and repeat and then scale that idea? And so like, I'm guilty of it too. Like I truly am. So anybody that's listening to this is like, like I don't want to wait. Well, that is 100% the nature of life, man, and same thing in the gym, man. I go in the gym and I'm like, where's my abs? Like, well, I had Cocoa Krispies last night, and literally, and
brother.
like I didn't work to failure. And like, so we're all guilty of those things. You don't see those very small infinitesimal changes that are happening. And it doesn't matter. I don't, and I'm not $100 million guy or even a $10 million guy yet. But I think that we're probably all a little guilty of that until you really get that patina on you. They get that real, not just look like age, but actually have, the wisdom and the patience, I think, that is cultivated, through a lot of years of grinding, man.
You don't get that beautiful face without a couple of lumps along the way.
God, man, I'm like, golly, I hope this thing doesn't go on YouTube, man. I got to get my facial. Yeah.
Well, and I appreciate you sharing that, Kevin. That's one of the things I love about you is you're very, very just open and raw about what it takes to be where you are right now, because you do still have goals, you still have dreams. And again, what I want to shift gears for a moment on is you're doing all of this while still being very heavily involved at home and having a personal life. I mean, I love
Oh yeah.
seeing the pictures of you and your wife traveling and going to shows and doing all of these
Yeah.
events. Like,
She
my
does
little
too.
guy's 7. I know as he gets older, that's the stuff that me and her have, to look forward to, is getting more time to travel and do those things. But I see you doing it. It inspires me. Talk about how you're able to do that, because again, we both see so many business owners that literally are slaves to their business and they don't get to enjoy the fruits of that labor. So how have you been able to implement that?
Well, I mean, I want to like fast forward a little bit. I talked to a guy in Apex. We had a phone conversation. And like, full transparency, I don't really talk to a lot of people in Apex, but I think he's one of your higher up guys. And I didn't even realize it was Sammy until, because I'd made a post about something, and then he called me and we talked on the phone for a while, and like something kind of like stuck. He was sort of talking about like how he built this like big business. He had all these doors and like, this huge massive company, and now he's like maybe is that dude in his 50s or 60s, or I have no
He's
idea.
a wise old man. I won't give his age, but he's a wise old
Fair
man.
enough,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Yeah.
But I just sort of saw like, he like had built this and was like, and now he's like figuring out like impact, or trying to figure out different paths to impact and touch and like reach people. So that kind of stuck with me a little bit, because I'm like, well, how can I do that now? It doesn't cost $100 million or take $100 million to create impact, right? Like Mahatma Gandhi created impact. He was completely broke, like Martin Luther King, whomever your archetype is for this analogy. But it's like, how can I create impact right now and like me and my wife are no means perfect, like we still, I still beat the hell out of her with a fifth of Jim Beam every night, every Friday night. It's like, no, I'm not perfect, man. Like, my kids put their cigarettes out on their arms just like all 12-year-old kids do.
Judd Nelson is rolling in his grave right now. That's
but it's like, all right, well, how can I create impact? How can I create impact at the fundamental level that like also affects my life, right? So it's directly like the people around me, right? So it's like obviously my kids, my wife, my business partners, people that work for me, customers, and then like flip that, right? So we have a very I a hierarchy in Destiny Water Ventures, and all my companies that I always talk about. I'm like, customers first, employees second, management third, business and ownership fourth, right? So we're the last one to get paid. Where I think it was Simon Sinek, right, said, wrote a book, Leaders Eat Last, or something of this nature.
It's a great book.
It is. Regardless, it's creating those impacts on the daily. So I had a heart attack, not to go backwards. I had a heart attack 15 months ago or something like that. I was highly stressed. I was still doing sort of like what I wanted here and there. We did our family trip, and then I would do my conferences. I do my business and stuff. But like immediately after that heart attack, there was like an immediacy to like, oh my God, like bucket list shit, right? Like I have to do stuff. So the heart attack was like lucky, because and I say that in all honesty, because my team ran my business without me. So I had to take a lot of financial and operational bumps and licks, and then come back to the drawing board and be like, all right, what did you guys do? What were you doing while I was gone? What are you doing here? What are you doing there? Okay, write it down. Okay, now put it in a G Drive folder. Okay, well, let's do a video, because I hate sitting at a computer typing. I'm like, I'm going to put my sales process in video. Like, let's put all this stuff in Basecamp, from the guy who scrubs the boat to the guy who signs it, does payroll. I want to know what everybody's doing at all times, and I want it systematized and put on paper. We're still not perfect by any means. We're not, whatever major corporation.
Having that separates you from 98% of the rest of businesses in the world, man. Like, and mine included. Yeah. I have some that I know are just kind of running by the seat of their pants, and still just we're blessed and lucky. But man, having just something in place makes such a difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does, man. So so even to this point, like when my partner left for vacation and I was here, and I'm pretty hands off the Jeep side. I'm embarrassed to say I don't know the software, but I happened to be in the office, and he didn't cross all his T's and dot all his I's. And we had some confusion on Monday because he was like, well, I'll be there. I'll be back Monday. And so his staff like took that to mean he'll be there Monday morning. And so like rigorous communication, rigorous channel